This is Rising Phoenix Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Rhodes. This podcast is for men struggling with an unwanted divorce. I interview experts on divorce, mental health, and I provide insights gained from my own divorce journey. You are not alone. Join me. I suppose let's start with Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. I am drinking. You don't have to drink. This is a celebration for me. This is Rebel Stoke. It's their hot box cinnamon whiskey. The first episodes were released 5 years ago on Thanksgiving, and I did a shot of Fireball. And I think I've done a shot of Fireball almost every time. I'm also a big fan of Rebel Stoke's pecan whiskey. I forget what they call that one. Shell shocked, maybe. That's a go-to for me. So, I'm a big fan of Rebel Stokes stuff. Shout out to them. They're in Canada. They're a Canadian and then company. So as I said, this is the 5th birthday. My podcast is now 5 years old. That is, that's pretty fucking crazy when I stop and think about it. I didn't really have a plan as to like how many episodes or how many years, certainly, or any of that kind of shit. I just wanted it to give my pain a purpose. I wanted to make. Oh, there's Joe. I just wanted to make something of it, if that makes any sense.
Can you hear me okay, Mike?
I can. There you are. How you doing?
Okay. Doing good.
Well, as folks trickle in, I figured I'd read some stats on the podcast. I posted these in a couple different places, so some folks are going to be like, "Yeah, we know," but I'm gonna fucking do it anyway. So, let's go to locations. I always find this pretty interesting shit. So, in these 5 years, this has been listened to in 137 countries.
That's pretty amazing.
It's pretty fucking cool, ain't it?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's some one-offs and stuff. There's some shit that I don't probably couldn't even I don't even know where the fuck it is. Trying to think of some highlights here. I mean, it's a long fucking list. So, but as you get down, Greece 45, the main ones obviously US is number one, Canada, UK, Australia, and Germany are the top five. One, two, three, four, five. And it drops off pretty dramatically, even from US to Canada. US is 100,000 plus, and then Canada is 11,000. So obviously the bulk of the audience is in the United States. So in the 5 years, it's been listened to in 6,055 total cities in the world.
I do appreciate when you try pronouncing some of them on the podcast.
I fuck it up pretty much constantly, but I like it. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. It pops up, and
Oh,
I'm like, "What the fuck is that?"
yeah. Some of them are doozies.
Oh, buddy. The Swedish ones are the worst. Funny enough, Australia is not okay. Australia is number 4, but in the cities, they're in the top 5 cities. 2 of them are in Australia, so must have a lot of fans. In Melbourne, Victoria, they lead the way with 2,118 listens. So I'll give the top 5. Chicago, Illinois is up next with 1,997. Seattle, Washington, 1,773. Sydney, New South Wales, 1,686. And then rounding out the top 5, Denver, Colorado at 1,682.
Mike, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Did you and same question to you, Joe. Did you guys have family Thanksgiving today? Did you have your children with you?
Guess I had daughters with me. Ex-wife came over and picked her up with her son, and we had a little meal together. Then they went on to do the rest of their day stuff.
Oh, all right. Nice.
Yeah, it was good.
Cool. Mirnas, you have
Pretty.
the kids?
No, I get him tomorrow.
Okay.
I will see him part of a day tomorrow. I did not have him today. He's
Okay.
with mom, but he was over with grandma and papa.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I posted this in the Discord, like I was saying. It's kind of a list of things I thought maybe we would cover, just kind of progressionally talk about this journey and the process. I'm not sure how far we'll get, but I can start. And mine's sort of a two-parter. The question is, um, or not, or the topic is the moment everything changed when she first said, "I want a divorce." What did you feel? What did you think? And what did you do in those first few minutes? So I think I probably told this story on the podcast, but it's sort of a two-parter for me. We were on vacation, very fucking expensive vacation. We did a cruise around the Greek Isles, and then we spent 3 days in Italy. And it was the last day in Italy, and it was kind of she was just fucking miserable the whole fucking vacation. Um, and it was hot, so there was somewhat of a reason to be miserable, but she was just miserable. And the last day, before getting ready to go to the Vatican, funny enough, I said to her, I was laying down on the bed and she was rubbing my head, and I said, "Is this our last hurrah?" And she didn't say anything. And so I got up and I looked at her and I was like, "What the fuck? Like, you not gonna say anything?" Like, you know, I mean, I felt it. Things weren't good. But I still didn't expect her not to answer. So that was a whole, uh, we went to the Vatican and then we packed all our shit up and then we went to the airport and we flew home and then we had a 3 hour drive from the airport because it was cheaper to fly out of Washington Dulles, um, than it was BWI, which is a little closer. Um, so I didn't sleep for I don't know how long, a long time, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was trying to understand it. I couldn't, didn't make sense. Like I know that, like I said, things weren't good, but I never thought divorce was in the picture. And that was like July 23rd or 24th. It's funny how that date used to stick with me, and now it's like not 100% sure. And then I think it was 3 weeks later is when there was a lot of uncertainty and back and forth, and she didn't know what the hell she was doing. And then I found out she was still texting this fella, and um, I was furious because I knew it wasn't. I didn't think it was just because she was sick of me. I thought that this other dude was in the picture, and she insisted, no, 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 I haven't talked to him in weeks and all this kind of shit. So when I saw that, it validated my belief that it was this guy was still in the picture, and so I was just an asshole. I mean, but I was pissed. I was caught her in lies, and then I got an email while I was at work, and she said I got all my stuff and I moved out. It was in the summer still. Like I said, I guess it was probably around the August time frame. And what did I feel? Just so they're two different sort of, she didn't exactly leave initially. So, initially I was devastated, and then I think I just felt lost, but also still angry because I was so pissed that she had lied. So, um, I remember coming home to my girls and the babysitter because it was summertime and they were here, and they were outside. And I remember them coming up and said, "Mommy left," and I don't wish that shit on anyone. I don't know that I'll ever forget that particular moment in my life. So yeah, long time ago though, fortunately. So I don't know which one of you wants to go first, but what talk a little bit about your first I want a divorce or I'm moving out type of situation.
Can I take a minute, Mike, and
Absolutely.
just express um, courage and bravery on sharing that with me as I'm sitting here and I'm by myself in my house. Nobody's here,
So,
and I have chills just hearing that story. Um,
well, thanks, man.
if I could, there's um, I guess one question I want to ask you since you started out with first is what is your feeling now to what it was
Oh,
back then on that first day? Is it still the same? Is it different?
oh, it's way different. I mean, I think that day that she left will always um be a negative memory for sure. Well, I I hope that someday that memory is muddled in a way that I will still be sad because of what I've seen my girls go through, but hopefully someday I'll be happy about. And not that I'm in a good spot in life, but I can't say that I'm truly like, I don't have a significant other. I don't have a partner. So, and I do think I hesitate to say that that's the last piece of the puzzle, but in some ways I think that it is. Not that you can just run to that and that's going to fix everything. I hesitate to say that because that is absolutely not true. But I hope someday that it'll be a muddled memory in that, it hurt my kids, but it led to this amazing relationship. That's my hope. Um, as far as like how I feel about it, um, it's funny. I am coaching someone right now, and we're talking about acceptance and how large of a piece that is. And I will say I've definitely accepted it. Um, I've embraced it as an opportunity. Took a long time to do that. Um, I'm grateful for what I have learned. I'm grateful how much I've grown and how I have a better, not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, grasp on the management of emotions. I think I'm less susceptible to the ups and downs of life. They still affect me. Don't get me wrong, but I'm much more grounded and level-headed. Um, so yeah, it's the night and day for sure. I don't hate my ex-wife. That took a long time. I understand why she did what she did. I not that I excuse it. I do forgive her. Again, not that I approve of it, but I understand it. She's a broken human, and I didn't, and so am I in many, many ways, and I didn't have the skills needed uh, to have a good relationship. And so there's regrets, but not, I don't cling to those, but certainly they come up. I wish I would have been a better husband. I wish I would have had better skills around emotional management, more than anything. Um, but I also think that it could have been worked out, if she wanted it to. So, I think it's like anything. There are certain days and certain moments that it hits me and it still sucks, even 6 years later. But I bounce back a lot quicker. I'm able to put it in perspective. I'm able to look at it in a very positive way, versus hanging on to the negative because it's very easy to do that. Um, but I'm lonely, but I'm in a really good place in life. Like I'm good with who I am. I still have way more work to do, and that part is exciting, because I can see and feel the growth. And that's all you can ask for, I think. I think if you look at this, as MC McDonald said, as it happening for me, not to me, then you can use it to benefit you. But it's hard. So that was a long-winded way to say it's night and day, but there's also a lot of nuance to that. So um Yeah. Well, Miranez, you how about you? What was that first few moments like, or whatever time frame you want to use? Maybe the first week or two or whatever.
Yeah, no, it was a um muddy weeks, months, years. Mine was in 23. I actually was in um Pittsburgh,
Oh,
and I drove down there for a weekend because as you guys know, I coach soccer, so I headed down there. I came back, drove by the Steelers Stadium, took a couple pictures.
nice.
Um, but leading into that weekend, and even frankly now that I have a better, clear mind, leading at least 2 years prior to that, um, I it's fair to say that um, the water was muddied, right? And I didn't want to find a way to cleanse it and look through it. Um, but yeah, I came back that weekend, and I think I was just on the couch, and I don't even know where my son was at that time. I think he may have been at grandma's, I believe. And she just said, "Can I talk to you?" And said, "Yeah, sure. What's going on?" And she just said that we need to talk about our marriage. And I remember clearly I paused for like 3, 4 seconds. I don't know what I said, but I remember clearly pausing. And somewhere in there, I clearly asked if what she's asking is a separation or a divorce.
Mm,
And she did not answer that.
mm,
That moment, I clearly remember. Everything else, I do not recall honestly what was said, how I felt, how I reacted. It was just a lot of numbness.
yeah.
But I do recall asking if it was a request to separate and just see kind of, if we can, you know, get grounded, or if this was indeed just a straight, you know, divorce paperwork.
Yeah.
Um, the answer has yet to be given to me in or verbally, but certainly we are in that phase. And by the way, mine is still not final.
Oh, sheesh.
Um, yeah, it's still not final. But that's all I really recall and what happened. And then days after that, it's just getting up at like 5:30 in the morning. I have the luxury to work from home, but I couldn't. So
Mm,
every day I drove into the office. Um, I remember one day we had a pretty large corporate meeting. So you know how it is. You gotta, put on a suit and a tie and kind of, prepare for that. And she said, "You look nice,"
huh,
as I was kind of heading out. So I didn't say anything. I remember that one
yeah.
morning. This was about, I'm guessing, maybe month after, where I would became withdrawn from any kind of dialogue, any kind of conversation with her, just because I was numb, right? I
Mm,
didn't know what to say, what to do, how to react. And she has never called me by a name. That was one morning that she called me a dick.
oh,
Yeah, so I'm laughing at it now, but she has never, like her and I have never verbally, if I can say, verbally abused each other. We have never
yeah.
really like argued. We've argued, but never in the face that we've actually called each other names.
Mm,
That was the first time that she called me um a name. And there's a mutual friend. This was probably another few weeks later that I connected, um that he had shared with me how bad she had felt because she called me that name.
Oh,
So those were kind of all the moments that I really recall. And then eventually, we started kind of just talking about, the how this is going to look like.
right.
Her lawyer, my lawyer. We didn't pursue individual lawyers. We drafted a judgment agreement together. So it evolved that way.
Yeah.
And yeah, here I am today. The judgment has yet to be fully agreed and signed final. So
Is that
I don't
because
really recall much, honestly.
yeah, well, it's definitely a bit of a blur. Is that you guys just haven't settled on an agreement, or is it just working its way through the courts?
We have not settled. Is one of the main things is that she has yet to really, I feel, come clear to me and tell me why she wants the friend of a court system in the agreement. Even though our lawyer, who's not representing us, but is has kind of like read the language and really um, rewrote the agreement in a way that is more legally um, professional. Um, Said there's no need for a friend of a court system, but she's coming back and she wants it, and I don't know why she wants it. And
Hmm.
I'm staying firm on that unless I truly understand why she wants it. And yeah, she's come back now a couple times via email um, that when I moved out, I stayed for what 2 months on our joint insurance,
Hmm.
and she wants funds for the 2 months because we were still on a joint insurance, which doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Um, so there's those are just small minor items. I'm not really too concerned about those, but the friend of a court system, I truly don't know why she's after it, and that's one piece that we haven't agreed upon. And
Well, forgive my ignorance. What is that exactly? That you record all interactions between you two?
so here in the state of Michigan, when if there is, and I'm going to quote the lawyer that actually kind of told us what this is mainly about, is if there is any kind of child support or alimony, it protects a child in that space, right? Neither one of us are asking any child support or alimony. She's got a good career. I do reasonably well for myself. So we've agreed that no need for that. I've taken on my son's insurance on me. His other items are all with me. So really, there's no need for it.
Hmm.
But she is coming back and has told the lawyer that she wants it. I said, I don't want it. And we're kind of at a standstill right now.
Yeah, interesting.
So, and really, when there is child support, it's being basically um, recorded, monitored, and the child is protected by the friend of a court system in that space. That's at the high level what it is,
Huh.
without going too much into detail.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, hopefully you can come to a sort of an agreement. The longer, I mean, I drug out for a while for me too, but the sooner you can get it done in some ways, the better. But you also have to make sure you're protecting yourself and not doing anything that is going to come back later to bite you in the ass. Because I've heard that a time or two where guys sort of just capitulate for various reasons and then really regret it later on. So hopefully you can come to some kind of an agreement. Um,
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for too. So,
yeah, fingers crossed.
yeah.
Joe, how about you, my friend? Can you talk about the first conversation or what happened in the beginning, the first few weeks?
Very- I can still remember where I was sitting. We were sitting at our kitchen table one night, and it hadn't. Like I knew something was off before that. Um, but yeah, we were sitting at the table the one night, and could see she was upset, and she just flat out said, "I want a divorce," and And at that point, I really didn't know what to say. Honestly, like, wow, I didn't fucking see that coming. Like, didn't expect that,
Yeah.
like that level of an item to be said, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, feelings after that of just more unknowing, didn't know what to expect,
Yeah.
didn't know how to feel honestly, because I like it was all new to me.
Yeah.
Um, and after kind of after hearing it, sitting with it for a while, then I would say the feelings of you know, shame, guilt,
Oof.
worthlessness,
Mm.
um, not being good enough, not being wanted, like
Oof.
all the bad things.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking every one of them had set in, and God, for quite some time, I did, I didn't sleep good at all.
Mm.
I went through a good point of time where I barely ate anything
Oh
because
yeah.
I didn't feel I was even deserving enough to eat. Because if I can't even keep my family together, what the fuck is the point?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I definitely went through all of that, like not eating, lost a ton of weight. Yeah. Yeah. Been there.
that was in January 21. Because she was, I guess I would comfortably say, actively seeing somebody else.
Mm.
Um, um, and there was plenty of lies and deceit to go along with that.
Yeah.
Um, so I got all the paperwork from the courts, and we drew up everything ourselves
Mm.
and filed our paperwork.
So you didn't use
Um,
lawyers?
no lawyers.
Oh wow.
We did everything ourselves. We from household goods to, thank goodness she didn't want to do anything with my retirement or pension. Like, left that alone, which was good. But everything else besides that was split 50-50 or agreed upon and wrote down, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that we sat down together and did.
So
Um,
I'm gonna stop you there because it makes me think of one of the things I was gonna bring up was regrets. And for me, the amount of anger that I felt and leaned on and expressed is a big regret in some ways. I don't know that I could have done it any differently because it hurt so much that anger was the only thing that felt safe.
mm,
But I would have saved myself probably some money, certainly some time, if I would have accepted it a little sooner and been less of a dick about it all. How about you, Joe? I'll start with you. Any regrets in that first, maybe even
um,
6 months?
I would say, I guess, hindsight, I really don't think so because
Nice.
I still didn't know what to.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I didn't know. I
Yeah.
wasn't angry. I didn't yell about it. Like, she would get upset because I wouldn't yell and have an argument. I'm like, that's not
Right.
that's not going to help.
Yeah.
Like, just making fucking noise. That's not going to solve anything right now.
Right.
Um,
All right.
yet,
Well, I mean, good for you, brother. I I wish I could have been the same. Miranez, how
like,
about you? Any regrets during that first, 3 months, maybe 6 months, something like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, looking back, um, two regrets for sure that I have. I so I was the first to. So we actually have never even there's never discussion of divorce. Divorce, that word was never used. So I don't know if you guys have discussed it previously before the decision was made. So and after it was after she had told me is I was the one that was actually trying to ask her to figure out if we need to do individual therapy or couples marriage therapy.
Right.
And she was very quick to say no. So I absolutely regret asking that.
Why is that?
I um knowing what I know now, I just needed to be more accept accepting the fact that that is
Yeah,
what she wanted and
yeah,
honor that. Right. And when I say honor that,
yeah,
truly just honor it, but put a hard boundary. Okay, you want it, fine. Right.
right,
That's what we're
Hmm.
doing.
yeah,
Right. But as I mentioned earlier, like the brain is so muddied, is you don't even know what to think.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's nothing is clear. Um,
Amen to that.
and then the other thing for me is and again, this is in looking back, right?
Cool.
Because I know all of the information. Um, Leading into it, 2 years leading before this happened, I'm talking about even during the COVID times. Um, I regret not necessarily taking the initiative to initiate it early or maybe myself, but I regret that I didn't have um, the courage, the bravery, the whatever you want to call it, to sit down at a kitchen table and say, "Hey, this is how I'm feeling. I don't know how you
Mm.
feel." Um,
Yeah,
Kind of just lay it out there on the table and just basically say, "Okay, either we're gonna get through this shit together and we're gonna be different people and a better couple, or we're just gonna decide to go separate ways right now."
yeah,
And and those are the things that it's when you're in the middle of it. I felt like I was blindsided, that's for sure.
right.
But those are the
Hmm.
two regrets that I definitely wish I would have
Yeah,
addressed or handled differently.
yeah, I hear
I,
you.
I,
Go ahead, Joe.
I was gonna say I do I 100% agree with you there, Miranez, of like um for the fact that having the courage to sit down like that. And the other thing that I think about, well, often is like I didn't know any differently because I didn't have any other examples
Yeah,
to know what a good marriage looks like.
yeah, yeah. Well, and I think that's a
That
lot of us. Yeah, yeah.
I just thought it was normal.
I mean, based on what I seen growing up, I thought we were fine because my parents had knocked down, drag out, sometimes physical, but certainly a lot of yelling. We didn't have a lot of that, so I felt in that regard like thought we were doing okay. But yeah, I wish I would have been able to allow her to have emotions when she had them because I couldn't handle them, and I would basically tell her to shut the fuck up. Not maybe not exactly that, but essentially that was the message. Your feelings don't matter. Um, and the message was that was the true message was I can't handle emotions and feelings of any kind. So I certainly can't deal with yours. And I wish I would have been able to hold space and let her express herself in ways that made her feel, safe, seen, heard, whatever. Um, but I couldn't handle emotions of any kind of any, significance. It was just too much for me at the time, sadly. Um,
Hmm.
uh,
Was
let's
was that do like when you guys talked about divorce, or was that before?
Oh, before. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was not. Yeah, I was not a good in that regard. In a lot of ways, I think I was a decent husband, but in that regard, I was not a very good husband at all. Looking back, I wish I would have been able to do some of the stuff I'm able to do now. And I was thinking about this a couple days ago. I don't know exactly why. I was talking to Albert, and I think I was sort of going over the beginning, similar to what I talked about. I don't know why. I had a long drive, and sometimes when I do, Albert is the benefactor of those long drives. So I called him, and I was thinking about this topic and how I wish like if there was a regret, that's certainly one of them. There's probably more than one, but if I would have been able to handle her emotions, maybe we wouldn't be here. And it made me think back to, I think it was last December. Well, I think it was a year ago when her and my oldest daughter were sort of bumping heads, and she ended up in my driveway. My ex-wife ended up in my driveway in her car crying, and I went out there and consoled her. Um, and thinking I didn't really think about it until a couple of nights ago, like, but that I finally sort of, I get in some ways maybe redeemed myself. And because I did give her the space to have her emotions and feelings and just kind of listen to her talk about how shitty my oldest treats her sometimes. Now, obviously, there's a part of me going, well, yeah, bitch, you broke up her family. But uh I
Yeah.
didn't I didn't say that, you know. I held the space for her and just let her cry and complain and you know, nothing, there was no, it was not romantic at all. It was not I would say it probably kicked up some feelings like a day or two later, but not in the moment. I didn't feel like I wasn't trying to get her back and I wasn't trying to redeem myself either, but now that I think about it, now that I look at it, I did that. I'm able to do that now, which is, and I don't think, you know, you might be, well, you're not married now, so the feelings aren't the same, but yeah, maybe. But the point is she had some very strong, intense emotions. She was literally crying. And in the past, I would have been like, you know, what the fuck are you crying for? Like, you know, I, I would have told her to handle it or figure it out or stop. What do you like? What good is crying doing? But I didn't do that. So I felt some kind of some vindication, but again, not in the moment, not until, you know, almost a year later. So um another I think tough part of the beginning and something that I didn't have to do was telling the kids. She told the kids. She left when I wasn't there. She took a lot of her shit out the back door, so I couldn't see her come out the front door because we have a camera. Um, and she basically told them that, you know, it was for the best or some shit. I don't even know exactly what she said, but so I didn't get to tell my kids. Miranez, we'll start with you. How did you tell your children, or how did that all work? What did you say? All those kinds of things. Anything that you were comfortable talking about in that regard?
Yeah, no, that was a tough one for me is I actually had gone away for the entire weekend. This was in Father's Day weekend.
Oof.
And yeah, I just needed to get away. It was just too much, so I had to remove myself from the house. Drove away for about a couple of hours. Put myself in a hotel room, just basically just cried my soul out, right? How am I going to handle this weekend, Father's Day weekend, right? So got all kinds of messages from her that, you know, he's asking where I'm at. Grandma and Papa by that time knew what was happening. They were texting me. I had put my phone kind of like on silent, do not disturb. Um, and I just somehow, some way, picked myself up, drove back home, and just basically broke right at him right there in front of my garage. I sat down on the steps and I held him. She sat next to me, and I just told him that um, I think I said, Dad is not going to be living in the house anymore. So that was exactly on a Father's Day. It was a Sunday
Ooh,
of 23.
that's rough. I gotta imagine that was pretty difficult.
Is I literally I cried like a baby. I could not get any words out. Um, you know, leading up to it, I had messaged her. I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna see him, but the minute that I see him, I will be a mess. And she kept telling me to find it in me to be strong because, you know, we don't want him to be affected.
Yeah.
And that's yeah, that's
What a bunch of
Yeah.
bullshit that is. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, but what a bunch of bullshit.
I know. It's exactly. It's just when you have all kinds of emotions, you know, you're I didn't know how to regulate, right? I
Oh,
didn't know how to really process it. So I literally was like I was like crying like a baby, right?
yeah.
And sitting in my steps, he hugged me, and then 2 minutes later, she just took him and went for a walk with him,
Yeah, Jesus.
right? So that was how we broke the news to him.
Mm, shit. Joe, how about you?
Yeah.
Um, it was shortly after she asked for a divorce, and I told her she was fucking telling the kids because this wasn't dad's fucking idea.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
this is a mom thing.
yeah.
Um, and maybe that wasn't a good way to go about it, but
I
I
don't
knew I
know.
wasn't going to tell the kids I was breaking up the family.
Yeah,
Um, and it was dad's choice. I know that.
yeah,
Um, that was in January. And then I don't, we had to divvy all the things up. We sold our house, got new places, and like, then that was probably the worst right in there is like telling your 4 year old of why she
yeah,
can't see mom at night.
yeah.
Like, and to try and be strong for them there and try and explain that so they'll understand. Oh my
Ooh.
God, I don't wish that on anyone.
No, dude, that those first like that week that she was gone. So she left, like I said, um, and she left the kids here, and so they were with me throughout the week, and seeing their pain was, and then trying to hold your own shit together. Golly, I'm sure there are harder things on the planet Earth to do, but that's got to be up there as some of the hardest shit you have to do as a human being is to keep your own shit together when you have no skills and tools to do it. By the way, um, but try to keep it together while they're hurting and crying and confused and like, fucking a. I see there's a couple of you watching. If you want to pop in your story, you certainly can. If you got any comments, feel free to write them in the little chat thingy. I want to move on a little bit to bitterness and anger. I covered mine. I was a very angry and bitter person. I think it took me a long time to get over a lot of that. I mostly am. I still have some on occasion, obviously, but in general. I've come to acceptance, and I think that really zapped all of the fuel for my bitterness. But Joe, how about you? Did you have a lot of bitterness and anger after a certain point, or at any point?
Oh, I 100% did.
No.
Um, just upset, well, just holding all that anger and, honestly using that as fuel at that time to even just get through the fucking day.
Yeah.
Um, there, would say that acceptance, I guess I describe it differently than that.
Mm.
I I guess I describe it as like I realized I was an angry person and just unhappy. So I just made a choice that I don't like this anymore. I don't like how I feel.
Yeah.
I don't it just nothing's good about it. And I just decided to it might sound corny, but I just decided to be happy, to look for the happy things and the good in things, no matter how fucking minute and small it is, and to
Well,
try and focus on the good versus the bad all the time.
it's a choice. It's a choice, and
Yes.
it's obviously easier said than done at times. But I think
Yes. Oh, good. Yes.
it is an important distinction. And no one's talking about, and I don't think you are talking about walking around thinking the world is fucking sunshine and rainbows and unicorns all the fucking
No.
time. But it is about making a conscious choice. There's a
Yep.
commencement speech I've talked about it in a podcast called "This Is Water." If you haven't ever listened to it, it's fucking fantastic. He talks about this the obvious choices of deciding what to think, what to focus on.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it is hard, but it is absolutely fucking necessary if you want to move on, if you want to have any kind of a good life. Because you can be miserable. There's lots of reasons to be
Yeah.
miserable. There's
Yes.
lots of reasons to be pissed off um, every single day. But there's also the opposite if you look for it. So again,
Exactly.
easier said than done. Um,
Hmm.
Mirnez, how about you? Did you have any bitterness or anger at any point during? I'm sure you did. If so, what did you do about it?
Yeah, I did for sure. And honestly, I actually still have it to this day. Um, Bitterness and anger, and not so much for the divorce, but rather the disrespect that I felt um, in the in how she handled it,
Mm.
or how it was handled altogether. Um, I've accepted the fact, and I'm very much um, okay with the fact that the divorce is taking place, and I've moved on past that. But I have not moved on past the disrespect portion.
Mm.
And that simply comes from, um, I think, had there been some kind of dialogue in the early stages, and this is where I take ownership on myself, where we would have discussed, hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is, tell me how you're feeling. Um, I think the acceptance piece would have uh, come much earlier
Mm.
to me. Um, but the disrespect that I have felt all along is something that I'm mainly bitter or angry about.
It
And that is something that I'm currently working through.
disrespect in what way? Because she's not communicating to you about things and she's going through lawyers. Is that what you mean?
No, early on, like
Oh,
when
okay.
we both knew that we weren't in a harmonious relationship.
Right.
That was really obvious. I think it's fair to say that um many of us may have felt that. I know I felt that, but I
Oh, yeah.
just didn't want to accept for what it was, right?
Yeah.
And then it was her that said that she wants a divorce, right? And that's where I felt the disrespect is that um, the number of years that her and I have been together, have known each other for 20 years, 14 married, at least one conversation would have shown me respect. Hey, this is how I'm feeling. And I don't need to um, hear you say anything, but this is how I'm feeling. I would have come to the acceptance much sooner and felt respected.
Mm.
Um, I that never happened. Her and I have never discussed. She just said, "This is what I want." So yeah, there's in bitterness and anger still to this day, only from a disrespect point of view, not so much from the divorce. The divorce is that's that I'm past that.
Yeah.
Even though legally I still need to make it final,
Right.
I'm past that. I feel like I'm at a place where I've accepted that. But the respect and how she went about it,
Mm.
yeah, I'm angry about that. That is for sure.
And how do you think you can move on from that and let that go?
I have to continue to look at items or look at myself as much as I can sit here and say that, she didn't show me that respect. As I said earlier, I didn't take ownership. I didn't take the lead, and I didn't sit us at a table and said, okay, here's how
Mm.
I'm feeling.
Right.
Right. So I'm taking
Mhm.
um, the ownership and accountability on myself, and I'm trying to regulate and process that piece. Um, I still struggle that there's two individuals involved, right? That
Mm.
it was a hard no for her to engage in any kind of therapy or counseling. Um, and it was, and that's what I was seeking, right?
Right.
In the early stages. So I don't know that um, I have the right or wrong approach on how to regulate and process those bitterness and angry emotions, but that's where my anger comes from. That is a fact. I know that for sure.
Do you feel like she didn't give you an opportunity to fix it? Is that kind of what it's centered around?
If you would have asked me that question, say 12 months ago, 2 years ago,
Right.
I would have said yes. Um, but today, not so much to fix it, but rather just, hey, um, I owe you this respect, right? We've lived together for 20 years, married 14. Here's how I'm feeling. That's kind of like all I was really,
Right.
I mean, I know that today, but
Right. Right. Right.
if we had any kind of dialogue like that, I think the acceptance piece would have been um much easier and much better. I just never got that. I don't think I'll ever get that, and I'm actually not after that. I'm just
Right.
trying to find a way myself to regulate and process that anger.
Yeah. I mean, I think we oftentimes expect other folks to behave the way in that we would, right? I think that's a standard human thing. Well, I would never do that, or I would have sat down with her. Um, and so I think we hold people to standards that are not theirs, obviously. And I get it. I think let it go is an easy thing to say and a really hard thing to do. But I would say I would caution you to not um, hold on to things that are going to keep you stuck. Not that you are, but it's certainly possible that you are, because at the
Mhm.
end of the day, you can't. There's nothing that can be done about how she behaved in at any time, right? At any time during the marriage. Um, it's well, what's done is done kind of thing. But I hear you. It kind of feels like, and I never got that. We went to one joint counseling session, and then we each had one separate one. But in my separate one, I had found out that she was doing all this lying and shit, and so, and I think she might have been gone even by the time I got to mine. And it was funny because I remember sitting down and I'd be like, "Well, did she tell you?" And he's like, "No, she didn't. What, tell me what?" Like she had already pretty much either she had already left or she was pretty well. I had caught her in her lies, and she didn't say a fucking word to the therapist about any of that. So yeah, I didn't exactly get it either. I think that's sort of a Hail Mary for a lot of folks. Um, when you're in that state of like, I don't want this to happen. Well, what can I do? What can we do? And I kind of got it, but she was checked out. She was fucking done. Uh, so
Yeah, you're
what?
right. I mean, we are wired, right, as men to kind of just fix things, right? That's
Absolutely,
just, kind of how
Yeah.
we are wired. But
absolutely.
Yep.
yeah, realizing that sooner, it's a lot more difficult. I sit here, what, almost now 2.5. It'll be, it was in May that I got mine, May of 23.
Mm.
So, yeah, a little over 2 years. But yeah, we're just wired that way. We want to fix, right?
Oh,
And
absolutely. Yeah, for sure. But yeah,
yeah,
I mean, you're not wrong for that, for sure, and not you're not wrong for feeling it either, and you're not wrong for feeling disrespected. But I just, just careful with, again, expecting folks to behave the way that you would, because people just don't, sadly. And you would think, I was with her for 15 years. You would think there would be some sort of like loyalty or like, yeah, I guess respect even to like maybe not even necessarily me, but the marriage, the children. But at the end of the day,
hmm
you can't make people do what you want them to do, or you can't make people behave in the way that you would. Sadly, I think sometimes. Um,
that's
let,
true.
yeah, let's move on a little bit to the loneliness. This is a big topic, obviously. I think there's probably numerous episodes of the podcast on loneliness, and it's a topic that always comes up. I struggle with it at times myself still, but um, I think the fucking world is suffering from loneliness, even folks that are actually in relationships. But um, let's talk a little bit about unhealthy and healthy coping mechanisms. And it doesn't have to center around loneliness necessarily, but that was for me, that was a big one in the beginning when you have a full house and then you have an empty house. And I'll start on this one. I did all the unhealthy things you could do. I was doing cocaine in fucking bar bathrooms. I was fucking as many people as I could. People way below my standards, sadly. I don't think I had a healthy coping mechanism. I drank, I partied, I fucked, I was angry. I didn't have healthy coping mechanisms for a good year, I would say. I can't remember who I left off with. Mirnaz, how about you? Did you what were your coping mechanisms, and would you consider them healthy and or unhealthy?
Honestly, guys, I don't know whether they're healthy or not healthy. I know one thing for sure that's helped me tremendously is that I got myself into a men's retreat
Hmm,
on
nice.
that same year.
Very
And
healthy.
yeah, so that's one area that I have been engaged heavily in these 2+ years that ever since I've you know got into this divorce journey. So that's been really, really healthy for me.
Yeah, for sure.
I've engaged with a leader in a coaching environment.
Nice.
Um, also looking into how can I be more of service from that perspective,
I
if
like
there's
that.
anything that I can offer to service, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I still find days where, I find myself going, with a couple of my buddies to a bar, right? Where you just kind of, call it the old days. And
Sure.
I don't drink, but I do drink socially.
Yeah.
Um, Certainly have not been in a relationship, but I have dated. And same as you, Mike, it's like it's just I am learning, even though I feel like they're baby steps, that it's just not healthy.
Yeah.
But sometimes just the way we are wired as men is, to cope with your feelings at that moment. That moment could be today or could be the entire week. You've kind of, you get into that dopamine rush where you almost, you do it for whatever 2, 3 days a week. I'm like, what the fuck did I do? Like, that's just not good for me,
Yeah.
right? So I find myself in those waves, in those valleys, um, earlier, more frequently, recently, less, but it
Yeah.
happens every now and then. And uh,
Yeah. I think that's normal and okay. I think it become for me it was a problem because that's all that I did. But I think leaning on these vices sometimes isn't the end of the world, right? I don't think we have to be perfect in this journey. I think there's a lot of stuff that we could beat ourselves up about because we are human and we do fuck up. But I think as long as it's, if you're missing like, time with your kid or it's affecting your work or some shit like that. And I also think, it's a learned you have to learn new skills and behaviors, and that's hard, especially if you did things a certain way, avoided feelings and emotions and stuff, and used other things to deal with those. That takes a while to learn those new skills and break those bad habits. So I say as long as you're not face down in the gutter every weekend, I think getting hammered every once in a while with the fellas isn't such a bad thing.
yeah,
Joe, how about you, sir? Healthy, unhealthy coping mechanisms?
Ooh, unhealthy. I know at the beginning, like if I didn't have the kids with me on the weekend, I spent many a weekend just trying to sleep it away to make it
Mm.
go away, so I didn't have to be awake and thinking. Um, did that. I went through I guess I call it a garage drinking phase where I just sit in the garage with a dog. We just sit outside and I drink. And then I realized this probably isn't a good choice, Joe. I probably like I can sit out here in the garage, but we should probably don't need to be getting drunk.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
um, then I guess I started trying to find other things for myself to do. I picked up a one wheel, you know, to get me out of the house because that helped me immensely. Because when you're on that, you need to focus on that, or you're gonna bust your shit.
Hmm.
Um, and just other healthy one that sounds so simple. I know we've talked about in the group, but just go outside for a walk,
Yeah.
get out in nature. Like it's
Amen.
so simple, but it helps so freaking much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, say now, I've I make it a point to find myself something to do every weekend. I don't have the kids where you know, go hiking at a state park or go to a buddy's house or take myself out to eat. Just get out of the house and do
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. How long do you think, like, before you, for me, it was a year before I finally sort of said, what I'm doing, not only is it not, it's obviously clearly not healthy, at least to me, but it wasn't really helping either. Like, none of that shit, is going to lead to any kind of long-term success in life. Like, if you're hitting the bar, or doing coke, every weekend, it's not going to end well. So it took me about a year for me to finally decide, okay, I need to get my shit together. And that's when I joined the Alpha Code, and kind of like you were saying, Mirna, as a men's group. That's what the Alpha Code is. But that took me a good year. How about you, Joe? How long did it take you to sort of wake up and decide, like, I'm not doing it right, whatever the fuck that means, but I wanna try and do it differently.
Well, I'd probably say at least a solid fucking year
Yeah.
at a fucking minimum. And that, like looking at it now, it sounds so long, but I felt the time went so fast.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah. I hear that.
um, yeah, yeah, and I still don't think I have a perfect system for say. I'm still always looking for new ideas and just new things to do
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
uh to entertain myself. I like to call it. I'm gonna go find a way to entertain myself.
Master dating, as Jared likes to say.
Yeah, yeah.
Mirdes, how about you? How long did it take you to sort of decide to be healthy about things, or healthier?
I don't know that there was a time frame, and honestly, every time I find myself in those moments that it's unhealthy, is I have this subconscious mind, that kind of knocks on me, or like it makes me think about it, like it just literally just ask, dude, what am I doing? Why am I here?
Mm,
I just need to get out here and just do something more productive. Um, the the frequency that I find myself in these moments is less and less as the time goes on, right? As I'm kind of healing through this journey. Earlier on, the frequency was uh, probably every weekend, every other weekend, something like that.
yeah,
I found myself in a not healthy state of mind.
yeah,
But yeah, it's a yeah, it's a process for me where sometimes that dopamine kick, right? That it's just no, I'm a lot more resistant nowadays
mm.
than I have been in my early stages.
Yeah. So we're talking about sort of the bounce back, right? When you have
Yeah.
shitty moments, and how quickly can you get back to baseline? And that's the one thing people said, give it time and all those kinds of things. And I think what time does allow is you to learn how to bounce back quicker. You learn what works for you.
Absolutely.
You learn what the things that can get you out of a bad mindset or a bad mood, or learn how to handle some of the punches and ball kicking that goes on in life. I find myself bouncing back, in sometimes minutes, sometimes hours, versus days and weeks. Even before divorce. I found myself bouncing back a lot fucking quicker, for sure.
Hmm.
That has to do with the mindset of wanting to learn though too.
For sure.
Like
Yeah.
and being in a headspace where you want to learn, you want to get better. and accepting that, hey, maybe the way I was doing things wasn't the best fucking way, and maybe I should look at some different methods here.
Yeah. Speaking of that, so let's get a little bit more specific. And I'll start in terms of some of the things that we learned to help us in those moments. And I think that probably the biggest one, there's two, but I think, well, let me start with the smaller one. I wrapped my head around that I'm responsible for me and I can only control me. So anything else someone does is I can't do anything about it. You know, you can get pissed about it. You can, oh, she said this or she did that. I'm not saying that never happens, but I learned a long time ago it's a waste of my energy. And again, still a struggle and all that kind of good stuff. But when those moments hit, I have to remind myself I can't control her. I can only control me and how I respond to her. And how that is more important than how she acts. Because what I do will inform her of how she can react or behave. So, in other words, if she does something to piss me off, I can express that. You dumb fucking cunt. I told you not to ever do that. Or I told you not to say this, or I told you not to whatever. And that's just going to tell her, oh, I got his attention. I'm going to do that shit again as soon as I possibly can. Right. Because make no mistake about it. Yeah. Okay. They want a divorce. They don't want to be with us. They still like our attention. I don't buy that they don't. And I don't think that that's a human thing in general. So I don't want to react to feed her to behave in ways that are unpleasant. If I just fucking ignore it, it'll go away eventually. Again, easier said than done, old habits, all those kinds of things. And it does keep us connected in a way to them. And that's something that I think sometimes we want, whether or not we want to fucking admit it. Obviously, as you get further out, that wanes. So that was one. But the biggest one, the biggest thing that to this day that helps me bounce back is how I talk to myself. If I
Mm.
fuck up or something goes wrong, do I blame myself? Do I beat myself up? I'm tired of doing that. I've found different strategies around that, but learning how to navigate talking to yourself better was one of the biggest fucking positives I've ever, the biggest, best skill I've ever obtained and acquired in my life. So, Mirnaz, how about you? What are some of the things that you are using when you do bounce back? When you find yourself able to bounce back, what are you using to do that?
Um, that is really, really good question. I find myself looking for ways to um, comfort my nervous system
I love that.
through through more peace.
I love it.
Not
I
so
like
much
peace. It's
love
good.
or
Mm,
whatever other emotion that comes up, but rather is what brings peace to me? What can I engage into that gives me um, more comfort, more peace to myself? That is something that I have found to really be helpful to me, and this is something that I've learned through um, being engaged in our conversations on our chats that we do, and also through the men's retreat.
mm,
Um, but it is finding ways to really be more at peace with
mm,
myself
mm.
and comfortable in an environment that I find myself in. So that is something that I really have been focusing on lately quite a bit. So
That's a good one, man. I love that. That's awesome. I kind of forgot about that. Yeah, that's a great one. How about you, Joe?
Um, I'll start off adding to that the peace thing is creating I'll call it creating your place of peace, like your home, your spot.
Hmm.
Like that was one of the things that I brought me the most fucking joy when I decorated my place, because
Hmm.
I got to hang the pictures where I wanted them at
Right.
the fucking height I wanted to put them things at. And it didn't have to be no reason behind it, because that's where I decided to put the fucking thing. Like something as simple as that. It makes me smile looking around now, honestly.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, Um, you'd mentioned on the positive self-talk too.
Mm,
Absolutely. Sometimes you got to be your own best cheerleader and talk
absolutely.
yourself up because you're and I tell this to people too, even at work or throughout the day, like your brain doesn't know the difference about the negativity if it's coming from you or someone else.
Mm-mm.
So you might as well say good shit about yourself and
Yeah.
talk yourself up.
Yeah.
Yep.
If it's not you, who the fuck's gonna like
Yeah,
you got to be your own
absolutely.
biggest cheerleader for sure. Easier said than
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
Um.
Um,
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that you mentioned on not getting a reaction or
Mm.
giving a reaction. I leaned heavily on stoicism and learning
Mm.
about that. Of I'll listen to you, but you're not going to get a visual like a body language reaction out of me
Yep.
or a verbal one.
Yep.
You're not gonna push me off my center.
Yep.
I'm not gonna let you get that fucking pleasure.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
gonna happen.
A-
Um, the other
Amen.
big one that helped, and this I think we just came upon this. I think it was this year. Is the let them theory by Mel Robbins.
Mm. Yeah.
That's so fucking helpful. Of like, okay, they did this,
Right.
let them. Now I'm gonna go do that,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
you know, it's a choice. But when you're able to frame that in your mind like that, that is so helpful.
Yeah.
Of
Agreed.
doing that is what I found.
I want to touch on there, Mirnaz. You kind of started talking about. You almost said sort of self-love, and it's something that I always kind of struggle with. Not that I don't love myself, but just even the I don't, maybe I do, maybe I don't, but I wrap my head around it in a different way. Because I think love has been a fucked up concept. The people in my life that have hurt me the worst are people that I thought loved me and I loved. My ex-wife being one of them, but also my parents, right? My inability to hold space, to have conversations, to manage emotions came from my parents and their inability to parent in a way to give me skills. And so when people say you just got to love yourself, I go, nah, I don't know, man. What does that even fucking mean? So what I
Mhm.
land on is respect. I got to respect myself because I can understand that concept. I understand what that means. And so if I'm going to treat myself well, that means I respect myself, right? Anyone that I respect in my life, I treat well. And so when I sometimes get a little, it just doesn't land with me when people say, love yourself. I'd rather say respect yourself because I can, that's a concept I get. I don't know how that lands with you fellas, but for me that was an important distinction to make.
I agree, Mike. I think that speaks to me. I can definitely resonate with that. Is um, love is actionable, right?
Yes.
Um, and and love is a verb, right? Am I? Yeah, I think it is a verb, right? So
Yes.
it's it
Absolutely.
it and it comes in many different forms from shapes, right? Whether it's affirmation, whether it's, I mean, we can, that can be a topic whole, but you are absolutely right. I mean, when there is, when you are able to respect yourself, um, for who you are as a person, as an individual, that energy speaks to the audience, whoever your audience is, whether it's your friends, family, etc., right? And when you find that space that you can definitely, um, trust yourself and believe who you are, that you mean well, that you're here to do the service for yourself and others. I know for me when I'm able to um, show like that for myself, I'm in much better spirits,
Yeah.
right? And I would agree 100%. Like that is something that I still try to find a way to um it's I don't want to get off topic, but I have
Go for it.
struggled with imposter syndrome,
Ah,
right?
I hear you. I think
So
you're not alone in that. I think there's a whole lot of us out there that feel the same way.
Yeah, yeah. So that definitely, when you say, trust yourself, really um, be at peace and find comfort who you are. I mean, all those things resonate with me highly. So, yeah.
Yeah, I get that one. Believe me. Yeah, I think there's a whole lot of people out there that struggle with that one. How about you, Joe? How does self-respect versus self-love? How do you interpret those?
Ooh. I guess I want to say like I feel we're always as people in general our own worst critics.
Oh,
And
that's for
some
sure.
I definitely find it very challenging at times to give myself credit for what I have accomplished.
Hmm.
Um, with setting goals, be that with my physical health, my financial stability, relationships with the kids, and just saying, "God damn, Joe, you're doing a good fucking job." You know that credit like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I think when you're able to be, I guess I would call it your authentic self, and not, I guess I'm assuming you're relating that to like the imposter syndrome
Hmm.
or like wearing a mask in front of people. I guess I call it too. Is like
Yeah.
when you're able to be comfortable with yourself, people absolutely do realize that and see that where, you know, that's just Joe doing his thing. That's just who he is. And like Joe's happy doing it. If they don't like it, fuck them, I guess is my theory.
I
Because
like that
I'm
theory.
I'm doing it for me because it makes me
Yeah.
fucking happy. I'm not
Yeah.
doing shit to appeal you, you know,
Mm.
and
Amen.
that makes a huge difference. And I think when you're able to do that, and it doesn't happen all the time, but I sure try. You give off a different vibe or different energy, and people can sense that. I think
Yeah.
that
No,
you're
I
just
would
being
agree.
you.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, I want to ask two more questions. One of them is, you know, I think when you go through something like this, there's sort of this like when, at least for me, I go, when will I feel like I'm either grateful or um I've moved on or I've moved past maybe is even better. And to boil it down, just like what would you consider the if you were to achieve something or get to something, what would it take for you to look back on this and think this was I'm grateful for this? Like, is there a particular thing or set of things that if you achieved or if you got to, you would be able to look back and go, I am grateful for this shit show called divorce. Joe, we'll start with you, buddy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. In the beginning of it, very ungrateful. Now, grateful for the fact that I know I am a way better person than I was then. Honestly, I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about what a relationship should look like.
Mm,
Um, I've learned how to comfortably, express my feelings and what I'm feeling,
mm,
and like with that, like I'm feeling a feeling, or if somebody is doing something that I do like, letting them know too, hey, I appreciate it when you do that. It makes me feel good when you do this.
right, right.
And expressing that too has been fucking huge for me. Um,
Would you say you're there already? Do you feel like you're grateful for this journey?
yeah, honestly, I would. Yeah, because I wouldn't feel as good as I do, no matter like how shitty it was at the beginning. Like
Mm,
I think I have a very unique situation compared to many where I have a very good co-parenting relationship that
mm,
allows that to be better. Um, Still not fully comfortable expressing my feelings with her
sure.
yet when she
Yeah.
does shit to piss me off,
Yeah.
but with other people and within the group, that's helped me be able to be comfortable with. expressing it and seeing how to do it. Like that sounds really simple, but I didn't even know how to fucking express myself or talk about my feelings at the beginning. The group helped immensely with that on our, our calls during the week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Invaluable stuff. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're feeling grateful. I'll answer, and then Mirnez, I'll let you go. I'm mostly, I wouldn't say I'm fully there because I feel like, again, and I hesitate to say this, I as a person, am I a better person? I believe I am. I haven't been in a relationship, so I'm not sure if I'm any better at them. I would guess and hope that I would be because I've done so much fucking work and understand myself and can express myself, like Joe said, way better than I could prior to her leaving, for sure, 1,000%. Will that translate to a successful relationship? Don't know. Haven't had one. And I think there's a part of me that says that once that is achieved, then I will feel grateful. Now, I hesitate to say that because if you don't do all these other things that we've been talking about during this process, during this hour and a half, this 90 minutes, and you think the solution to your pain is to just find another partner, that is not the solution to your pain. But I do think that it's the last piece for me is the last piece of the puzzle is that piece. And then I'll be able to say, I am very grateful for what occurred. I don't hate the journey that I've been on. I very much love it and have enjoyed it and have grown from it. But I think that last piece needs to be tucked in before I can say I am grateful for this. Uh, Hopefully someday, and I may change my mind because if it never happens, I'll probably need to change my mind. But how about you, Mirnes? What will you will allow you to say I'm grateful for this thing called divorce?
Yeah, um, I can say, and I want to say that I am indeed grateful for the transformation.
Hmm.
Um, it is a transformation that I still find myself in the middle of it, that I still am learning and processing or rewiring, um, my nervous system, whatever we want to call it, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I'm very grateful for that piece, because it speaks different um, life to me. It um, I'm day by day I'm more optimistic, right? Because there is this transformation that I find myself in, um, not voluntarily, right? Because she asked for it, but I'm in it. I accepted it. I'm moving forward, and here I am, right? So I'm grateful for that
Mhm.
because I've learned quite a bit about myself, and I'm still learning very
Yeah.
much about myself. Um, it is it is very scary for me though on what this transformation will continue to bring or how it will evolve in the romantic space.
Mm.
Because I, we've talked about love briefly, right? And being more, showing more self-respect. And I do find that I will eventually find that person and maybe fall in love or whatever you want to call it. But I am afraid that I may lose myself in that space again,
Mm.
right? And that is something that um, I have learned um, by going on dates, by talking to several different women, where um, I know what I had before and what that felt, and now I'm becoming almost like a different person, right? I'm transforming,
Mhm.
and I know that I will be able to love again, but I'm afraid, and I don't know that I will be able to sustain the new Mirnes as I transform, or will I fall back into losing myself?
Well, it's a
Right.
good,
So,
it's a great, that's 100% agree. I worry about that myself. That's why I say I don't know. I think I'll be a much better partner. I certainly fucking hope so. But
mhm.
I don't really know. I apologize, guys. I'm now seeing all your comments because Facebook fucking sucks. So, Andrew, you're probably gone. That you commented an hour ago. Sorry. Jared, you commented an hour ago. The link is in the announcements and the general chat. Ian, you said you'll jump in soon. It's been an hour. You fucking liar. I'm sorry. Ian, forgot. I can't change your name to Ian, damn it. Adam West, pure panic. Man, I wish I'm so sorry, guys, and I missed all these fucking comments. Hey, Zach, took you about a year and a half for your anger and bitterness to start to calm towards her. 2.5 years now, and things have improved quite a bit because I feel better about myself. That is fucking awesome. Jared, using anger productively instead of destructive. Yes, as I said on an episode a while ago, anger should be a call to action. It should be a motivator. It shouldn't be a sword or a shield. It shouldn't protect you or be used to hurt others. It should get you to get off your fucking ass and do something. Kirk, hey guys, hey Kirk, how are you, sir? Adam, still in the phase where the anger and bitterness comes and goes. Yeah, you're pretty early on in the process, if I remember, Adam. And I think is mainly centered around how I feel thrown away. And yes, I take
Mm.
accountability for my mistakes, but that this person that I thought would always say, "Hey, let's figure this out together," turned around and said, "I'm out." Like she just quit and I didn't want to quit. Yeah, and I think, you know, I hesitate. I don't know if I hesitate, but what that says, and this isn't knocking you because I think we've all been there and felt that discarded, thrown away thing, is that
Hmm.
you and we were getting an invalidation of self. What the fuck does that mean? What I mean is that our worth and our self esteem in a way, or but certainly our self worth was coming from our wife, and when they don't give that validation, then we feel like we have no worth. And that's part of the, when I say all the time, you got to do the work. Part of doing the work is getting to a point where you don't need that as much, where your self-worth comes from within. Easier said than done, all that kind of good shit. I'm not delusional in saying any of this stuff in a dismissive kind of way. This is hard fucking work. It's why it's the work, and it's why so few of us do it. There are almost 8,000 men in here, and I think maybe 6, 7 of you showed up tonight. Now it's Thanksgiving and it's a holiday, but that's not uncommon for this place sometimes, sadly. So the work is hard, but it is essential. And what it will do is will get you to a place where what she thought of you doesn't fucking matter. What do you think of you? That's what matters. Um, yeah, Jared was just agreeing with Adam. Kirk says he's still. I feel the same way, just thrown away like a piece of trash. Yeah. Again, in some ways we kind of are thrown away, discarded, disregarded. But that doesn't mean that we're not good people or we can't be better in relationships in the future. It could mean a whole lot of things. It's up to us to put meaning on it. And I think one of the things, again, the work does is allows you to put it in a perspective that's healthier than that. And what do I mean by that? Well, instead of saying I was thrown away, you say, we just, for whatever reason, I mean, there's a couple of ways you could do it. We weren't right for each other. It ran its course. I didn't have the skills. She didn't have the skills. You can look at it in a way that isn't negative to you. Again, I'm not saying this is easy stuff. Zach, one thing I still can't wrap my mind around is my ex wanted a second kid. We had a conversation about our relationship, and even though it wasn't stable, we agreed for a second child. It ended up having a miscarriage, and then she split after that. Well, she was probably looking at that second kid as a line of hope. Sometimes I think people have kids thinking that's going to fix a relationship, and so that was probably what she was hoping for. And when she couldn't get it, she figured the relationship was fucked, and she left. Sorry if that sounds harsh, but that's my take on it. Guys, you can jump in if you want any tag on to anything I'm saying here.
Oh,
Adam,
I think we have all kinds of emotions, Mike. It's you know how many times women are fast to say, well, he is not emotionally available.
sure.
Well, I say fuck that. How about you say that he is emotionally unseen by the whoever it might be, right? And the number of times that we are not being emotionally seen is I can speak from my own experience, right? I was very numb to what was happening in my early phase, but I know now that I wasn't, was I emotionally available? No, absolutely not. And I'll be the first one to say, was I
Sure.
emotionally seen? Fuck no, I was not. Right? It's a
Yeah.
number of times that they will say, well, he's not emotionally available. Well, I challenge that. I will just say, well, how about that he is not emotionally seen at the same time? So it kind of goes both ways. And a lot of us men, um, we take that for granted where oh yeah, you are right. We're not emotionally available. But I'd like to challenge us sometimes that we're not seen emotionally either.
Well, I think it's a
I,
chicken or
I
egg type of thing. I think, when we unveil the emotion, what is it that isn't being seen? Is it anger? And are they supposed to decipher what it really means? Or were we vulnerable at times and they didn't know how to handle it because it was so out of left field? Now, not saying that lets them off the hook because they need to
Hmm.
be able to not interpret our emotions. That's on us to get to the true emotion. But if we are vulnerable and we do open up and they don't know how to fucking handle it, which is not, I have come across that more than once in my dating life in these 6 years. Um, then yes, that absolutely is on them. And I think there is a bit of talking out of both sides of their mouth in that they would like us to be more emotionally available, emotionally intelligent, but at the same time, when they see it, they don't know what to do with it, and it scares the shit out of them. I think that is absolutely true. So, it's not all on us. But I think again, when we go back to which part can I control, my part.
Hmm.
I'd like
Uh,
to add on to that.
yeah, go for it, Joe.
I just say absolutely with that, but I like to say you have to have a comfortable space to share your feelings in. And if they're not providing that for you and you don't feel safe around them to fucking express that, it isn't gonna fucking happen.
Yeah,
So
again,
they
it's
can place all the fucking blame they want, but it's
sure.
it's a both parties have to be comfortable with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it could be a chicken or egg type of thing. Like, were you vulnerable and one time and then they didn't receive it well, or have they always been um unreceptive? I don't know. I don't know uh the ins and outs of every single dynamic, but I always come back to what can I control? And if I don't feel seen or heard, then it's up to me to express that. Adam says, been really in the loneliness thing lately. I travel for work, so I'm on the road a lot, but luckily I have my new pup that travels with me. Yeah, loneliness is a motherfucker. I think we all have dealt with it, deal with it. It is a killer, literally. It's equivalent to smoking like either a pack or 2 packs a day or some shit. Um, it's a motherfucker. Animals help for sure. I got 2 cats. I had a dog. He died. Uh, maybe 9 months after she left, I think. Um, so keep that pup with you. Adam, I think you're pretty early on in this process. Do not date, sir. And that leads me to this next comment from Zach. One thing I really appreciated about this group was y'all made me realize I shouldn't be dating. I had so much work to do, and it was some of the best advice I followed. Yes, sir. Wait at least a fucking year. And I say that because I didn't. I know what works and what doesn't. Jared says, practice good master dating. It works pretty well for me. It sure does. Master dating is highly recommended. Um, Zach says, my bounce back times could use some work. I have seen improvement lately, though. It's satisfying. Fuck yeah. When you can, that's why things like journaling, posting in here, those are good things because it allows you to look back and you can see where you were and where you are. I think that's valuable shit. Um, last one. Oh, Jared said it made me into who I am today, and I'm proud of who I've become. I think he's talking about his master dating. And last, at least until I refresh, Zach says, "Oh no, there we go. My cat died on Monday. It's tough stuff. 20 years old. 20 years old. That's an old cat. Sorry for your loss, my friend. I lost one dog and three cats since she left. So it's that stuff always sucks, man. That's the worst part of having animals. But they are great companions. If I could have another dog, I would. It's just when it would I travel too with work but I go on airplanes and shit. So I don't that would be a giant pain in the ass. And then I got meetings during the day. What am I gonna do with them? So I can't leave them here all the time. So I would love to have someday. I'll probably have another one, but um not anytime soon, probably. So you guys got any okay, so we're gonna do the what I do with everyone else at the end of every podcast. Um what words of wisdom? Joe, we'll start with you. What words of wisdom would you impart to a man just beginning his divorce journey? Happy Thanksgiving out there, everybody, too. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you. Jared, I love you. Before this wraps up, we'll be doing a shot. On you, Joe. Words of wisdom, my friend.
I would say that the journey takes time, and everyone's timeline is different, um, and that's okay. And take the time to get to know yourself again, and try to look at it as an opportunity, because it is. You might be getting fed a shit sandwich, but you have an opportunity of what you're going to do with it.
Amen.
So just be kind to yourself.
That's a good one. Miranez, my friend. Words of wisdom.
Yeah, I will definitely echo the kindness. Be kind to yourself. Be courageous. Be brave. Understand that it is a journey. That you're going to be in this wave of emotions that one day will be better than the other day will be worse. So it's just understand that it's okay, whatever it is that you're feeling, and don't numb it or don't push it aside. Just allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you're feeling. And then the other thing I would say is for anybody that's new is connect with your brothers that are in this chat, because um, those that have gone through it or still going through it, they understand what it takes, and find a way to connect and stay connected with those individuals, because um, they can show you the path to growth and becoming a better person than what you perhaps were before.
Amen. We got a few more comments. Jared's got his shot ready. I gotta top mine off. Not only is it Thanksgiving, but it is the fifth birthday of Rising Phoenix podcast, and I think that is something to celebrate. Perhaps the last comment comes from a man who has a special place in my heart. Albert says special thanks to the warriors in this group that have openly and very bravely shared their stories, wishing each of you a day of gratitude. For me, immensely thankful for the personal power I have received from this group. I've talked about Albert on the podcast more than once, rightfully and deservedly so. I have met a lot of men in this journey. I've talked to a lot of men that are hurting and fighting and working and growing, and there are very few, if any, that can hold a candle to Albert Mendoza. He is a wonderful human being. He is a good friend to me, a confidant, a sounding board. He is everybody should have an Albert in their life. I very much appreciate him, and I'm thankful for him on this day. And I'm certainly thankful for all of you that watch and listen and are in the Discord and join the meetings and join me on this journey, because this shit isn't easy. It has its moments, but I'm glad that I do it. I'm glad that you guys are with me and growing with me, because it's awesome to see people go from devastated to grateful, like Joe and like Albert and Jared and Mirnez. You guys are very much appreciated, and I'm thankful to you. So here's to you, and here's to 5 years now of Rising Phoenix podcast. Cheers.
Cheers, Mike.
Well, gentlemen, that is it. If anyone ever needs anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, or anyone in this group. I'm sure would love to connect and help. If you're struggling, reach out. You're not alone. Don't do this shit in isolation. There are a lot of good men in this group. There are a lot of good men in the Discord server. There is no question that is too weird, or there is no vulnerability that you can express that will make someone make fun of you or turn you away or make you feel less than. We're all in this shit together. So if you are struggling, whether that be with loneliness or self-worth or self-esteem, reach out and express it. It will lead to healing. I promise you that. Jared, I'm going to give you the last words. Jared says wisely, Albert, you always be my Yoda. You have so much wisdom and insight. I grow from every conversation. That is a true fucking statement. All right, gentlemen.
Albert's a wizard.
He is. I love him. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. If you are feeling alone on this journey, please join our Discord server. Becoming a Phoenix is not a solitary act. It is one achieved through community. Our Discord server is just that, a community of men fighting to survive, thrive, and rise from their divorce. Go to risingphoenixpodcast.com/Discord for information on how to join and what is contained in our Discord server. Please join us.